So today we're beginning our work with markers. I have a Prismacolor set here that I'm going to use for most of the demos today. Most of your markers are going to be, your alcohol markers, your art markers are going to be double-sided. One side will be a chisel or a brush tip, and one side will be that little small fine tip bullet tip. Nice thing about chisel, you can get all these different widths and variations with it. You can get very, very fine areas. You can get nice wide coverage. They're very nice for for someone who doesn't have a steady hand. They can kind of help you. This is the set of Tombows I have. Tombows are actually water-based, but they're going to move a lot like an alcohol marker, but you can pay, like if you do watercolor over them, they're going to smudge. So you can see these have a really soft brush tip. They make a lot of different variations, and it's a lot more like holding a paintbrush where they sort of smear and become with pressure different widths. So this is the Tombow blender. They blend out very quickly, very easily in a way that sometimes alcohol markers don't. So you can kind of play with that. But I know that you all have a set of Tombows, which is what the school sent you. But they are water-based, so don't get them wet. But they'll move the same as everything I'm going to teach you today. So these are my chameleon pens. They have a brush point. They also have a bullet point. Mine have this chamber on the top that I can use. It has like clear liquid in it that mixes in and creates the different percentages to make like gradients with them. Probably none of you have these. I will try never to use the gradients when I'm doing demos. So if you want to use micron pens and things to outline your drawings, they will not bleed. Any water-based permanent ink will be fine underneath an alcohol marker. Sharpies will totally bleed. And pencil's okay, but sometimes your lighter colors might pick up some of that graphite and make kind of a muddier color or kind of clog up the nib, so be careful about that. So the first thing I'm kind of playing with here is just getting a feeling, flooding one field with color. I'm working on a little marker page right now, very similar to what you have. Nice thing is they bleed into the paper, saturate it, but they don't bleed like into the back on this type of paper, though you'll see it on the back where it's like, but it won't transfer to the next page, I mean. So, of course, I'm going to tell you that you want to swatch them, especially leaning with grays. You can see kind of on the ends of my markers, the swatches that are on the markers themselves look identical. So I do 3 different levels of going over it because even pressure and layering with one percentage marker can totally make a darker color. So I do that for each of them. They also have a number on them. The Prismacolors have like long numbers. They'll be like PM 105. So I just label my grays 1 through 10. So I know I can look at it and grab it, and then I use a little bit of Scotch tape to wrap those around each of my pens so that when I look at it, I have a very truthful, what it looks like on the paper I'm going to use, swatch. I also tend to group my markers together by color, so there's that. So you can see, you had to know I was going to tell you that we are going to swatch out all of your colors. So that if you do have a section of colors, not only will you have them separated out by groups so you can grab them quickly, but you'll be able to see what tones you can get by layering them. Certain markers, as you're looking at them, are definitely going to obliterate under layers more than others. I can tell you right now that that bright pink, that bright blue, anything that goes underneath those is going to get really heavily transferred into that color versus some of the ones that have a lower percentage mix a lot easier. So it's something to keep in mind. But at least now you'll be figuring it out, while you're swatching instead of in your piece later when you're like, oh, this blue would match great, and then you go over it and it obliterates all your underlayers.